welcome to this short presentation. My name is Jonathan.
I'm Jean Marie Russo.
And we would say welcome, but actually today we're going to say aloha.
Aloha.
Welcome, come share my space, come share my breath, because we want to talk to you tonight about a pivotal event that we feel really, really strongly about that is going to be coming up in October 2023 in beautiful Hawaii. Jean Marie, you've just spent several weeks in sunny Hawaii, have you not? How was it?
I have in Kona, Hawaii is where the event will be, Jonathan, October 22nd through the 29th. And I have experienced such a phenomenal opportunity. And I just want everyone to feel and experience and understand what I experienced and while I was there and what I learned more than anything, the culture, just beyond belief, and the history, oh my word. People are going to be just amazed by it, truly.
It is everything that you hear, and when you first land on any of the islands, you just feel it. You often hear Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson talking about the mana, the energy, the chi in China or the ki in Japan. And you absolutely feel it. I was fortunate enough to go over there for a few years, every 6 months, did a lot of training there, was shown some very, very high level esoteric and metaphysical healing stuff. The reason this pale Scottish white guy is wearing a Hawaiian shirt is because I bought this in Hawaii. This is the real deal. This is a kukui nut lei that was made for me by a Hawaiian kahuna, a Hawaiian shaman, and blessed. Therefore, I'm wearing it. Jean Marie, you've got one as well. Tell us a story.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. So the location, Jonathan, is very, very special where we're going in Kona. It is the King Kamehameha Courtyard Marriott, and it is the sacred grounds of King Kamehameha. Well, when I arrived at the Marriott, I was given by Hana, the wonderful, wonderful family, Ohana, and you can explain that in a moment, of the Marriott Courtyard. So I received this as a gift. And it is a special lei, and I hope I pronounce the shells correctly. This is, they're called, I think, Pele.
Yeah.
Pele shells. And what's special, and I hope you can see them here, they have a little hole in them. So they're very tiny, but they're stringed, if you will, that they have the ability to just be connected like a crochet, if you will. My mother used to crochet pearls like this, so this had so much meaning for me. And I asked the craftsmen of the women who do this, and the people, I shouldn't say just women, the Hawaiian natives who do this. It is time consuming, very, very much so, and labor intensive, where it used to be these shells were very, very abundant, but not anymore. And so they have to wait until there's a storm, a major storm that washes these shells on to the sand and the surface. And the woman that I spoke with, she was wonderful. She was knowledgeable, and she had in the lobby of the courtyard, she had her display of all the different pearls, and we were talking about that, and she shared with me that she has a source for these, and she has to call, and she'll say, is there any of these pele's? And they'll tell her, the next storm, you're on our list. We'll have to call you and we'll let you know. And it may be 2 weeks. They don't know. It may be 2 weeks. It may be 3. It may be in a few days, but she'll get a call And sure enough, they will put some aside for her and that. And so it truly is not a dying art, but they have to be very cautious on the ability to obtain these shells. So that was special. And the other lilies are the paluma flowers. Which are just beautiful, and they use different Hawaiian flowers, the orchids or the palumas, and they're beautiful.
Yeah, I remember buying an aftershave in Hawaii, and I can still smell it. It's long used up, long ago.
Yeah. I'm
I
sure.
can still absolutely smell it. You know, it's unique, and it's a special place. And the reason we are going on at length about the Hawaiian culture and the Hawaiian people and the location is because we're going to be getting a whole bunch of people together in October at an event in Hawaii. And so the purpose of this little presentation tonight is to take you through what we're going to be doing, hopefully to encourage you to at least take a look at it. There's something in here for business. There's something in here for the mental health. There's something in here for mind, body, spirit, something in here for everybody. And we very much believe in balance. And so we're covering all the bases. We're bringing a whole bunch of world leading experts in their fields into one place for a week. And we'd like to talk you through that today. It's called the Entrepreneur Accelerator. And it's a summit. It's not a workshop. It's not a seminar. It's a complete pivotal event. And we think it's going to be pivotal for everybody. So let's tell you why. The promise of the whole summit is to be able to create a 5-hour work week, to take whatever number of hours you're working in a week right now and shrink it down to a 5-hour work week, to live longer and healthier, and ultimately to retire early without risking your income, without risking your health, without risking your family, without risking burnout, and all the things that we see entrepreneurs and business owners suffering from all the time. So that's the promise. What we're going to talk about is the fact that it's not work-life balance. That's a phrase you hear bandied about all the time. I would suggest it's actually the other way around. It is life-work balance. Right? We work to earn income that we want to finance our lifestyle. So it's actually about the life first. And the question I'd have for you is, your business running you, or are you running your business? If you can't take time away from it and it's still makes money, then that's not a business, that's a job. So
that's right.
Right? We're looking to help people be freed from that trap and to actually have the business run for you. And also on a minimum number of hours per week. And we'll talk a little bit about our own personal journeys for that. So who's this for? This is for entrepreneurs and business owners who ultimately want more time freedom, that elusive promise that you hear mentioned all the time. Can it be done? Yes, it can. We want to help you accelerate your success. We want to help you get to where you want to get to. Success by your definition, whatever that is for you. We want to help you get to there faster and sooner. All right. Probably, though, by changing your approach. We're going to invite you to look at different ways of doing things, other mindsets, other strategies, and also other technologies. I'm sure you're aware that technology is advancing really quickly. And so there are ways where you can compress months into hours. This is not for know-alls. I don't know about you, Jim Marie, but I'm not a know-it-all. I don't think I'm a know-it-all, but I am a learn-it-all. I do want to learn.
Oh, I love that.
I want to learn as much as possible. Yeah. Entrepreneurs need to learn.
Truly. And you have to be open to it and recognize that we are learning every single day, Jonathan. You have to have something that you can learn every single day that makes us even more of a whole person, if you will.
Well, I think we've all had a very steep learning curve over the last 3 or 4 years where we had to think on our feet. We had to adapt. We have to use that pivot word that everybody was using. We had to move quickly. And one of the advantages of being a business owner or entrepreneur is that we're like a jet ski compared to a super tanker. The super tanker's got to stop the engines 5 miles out so that it stops in time when it gets to the pier. It takes a long time to turn in a big circle. Trying to change the course of a super tanker is a huge deal. We can change on a dime. We can pivot very, very quickly. We can dump a product, launch a new product the same day. And being able to adapt to your circumstances, I think, is really important. So if you think you know it all and there's nothing that we can possibly teach you, then this probably isn't the place to be. But
Correct.
if you, as Zig Ziglar once said, your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. And if the door is slightly open, then there's some stuff we'd like to share with you. That is an embarrassing picture of the palest guy on the island. That was me dressed in traditional Hawaiian garb, which I made myself. We were encouraged to make it ourselves. Learning the hula. We were taught the hula by one of the 4 remaining hula teachers on the planet Earth, which was an honor.
Wow.
And then we got to perform for the tourists. I got to visit Hawaii over 5 different journeys over a number of years, and spent a lot of time being taught some pretty advanced alternative and complementary techniques, particularly Hawaiian huna, by some lineage bloodline Hawaiian instructors. I figured if I'm going to learn huna, I have to go to the source. I'm also an NLP trainer, and I've been a business coach for 26 years. And so I was fascinated that all of my teachers all practice some kind of esoteric or metaphysical approach. You listen to every personal development guru out there, whether it's Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, Ben Bashard, Brandon Bays. You listen to any of these guys, they talk about their spiritual beliefs. They talk about a spiritual aspect, but they normally keep it separate. So they'll teach their normal personal development stuff, and then they have the kind of spiritual stuff separately. And I always found that interesting, because I don't think it's a dichotomy. I don't think it's an either or. I think it's a range. I think it's a spectrum. I think we start off with positive mental attitude. Then we get into the heavy, meaty stuff, whether that's CBT or Reiki or whatever we do. And then we come out the other side and start looking at more of the spiritual aspects, especially in our 40s and 50s. We start to think, is this all there is to it? There has to be more to life than this. So I went to Hawaii, ultimately got married on the beach. So it's a very, very special place in my heart. Jim Marie, tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh my goodness. Well, yes, my background has been one in the pharmaceutical industry, in the global corporate world. And I really, really feel connected as an entrepreneur because I've had the blessings of learning the various areas of the business, which is wonderful. But it is so very, very different. I was in the corporate world, global, like I said, pharmaceutical industry for approximately 25 plus years. I don't want to give it away too much, but 25 plus years, and had the opportunity to take early retirement. I had cared for both of my parents for 20 years of those years. And after my parents passed, my mother passed last in 2018, I decided to take early retirement in 2019 and begin as an entrepreneur and start to have a life. The first day of my entrepreneurship, when I left my employment, retiring, I received a non-compete clause. And so I could not do what I was going to set out to do. My business was all set to go, but I couldn't do it. And I needed to pivot immediately. And that was, at the time, I just kept going, persevered, and thought to myself, what was it that I enjoyed about meeting and event planning? I did a lot of global meeting and events, and I loved it so much. And I wanted to continue on in retirement with it because to me, it was not work. I called them my mini weddings. And it was the people I found. I did an introspective search inside without even recognizing the analysis that I was doing, but found that the speakers were truly the success of the event. And it was that important. Well, fast forward, within 3-4 months or so, COVID began to hit. And so everything stopped with the events and the speaking. So I did another pivot. And I went to each of my speakers, Jonathan, to find out what was important to them, what was their platform. And that exercise was so good. I got to know my people more. And to connect that with Hawaii, what we are here in my business, I feel my corporation, my people are an extending of my family. And in Hawaii, the word for family is ohana. And Jonathan, what that means is nobody left behind.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I truly mean that. I went to each of my people and I did the best I could, asking what it was that they needed. How could I help them? And so I quickly began to know that we needed multiple sources of income as an entrepreneur. One source is not sufficient. When you branch out, if you are just starting out as an entrepreneur, recognize that you will need, and it's to your benefit, to have multiple sources of income. And Jonathan is the man to talk to about that. He has an excellent program. But to my background truly is in the corporate world, learning to pivot, became an entrepreneur. And with my speakers bureau, I just feel in my heart of hearts, these people are experts. These people are bar none global influencers. They are not just speakers. They are international best-selling authors. Some of them they have awards beyond comprehension. But first and foremost, they have passion. Their heart is truly in the business, in what they are doing. And I feel that it is an honor and a privilege to work with them, to know them, to elevate them, and to elevate their business.
So if we take the combined experiences of all the guys that we're going to be bringing together, we have hundreds of years of business experience.
Truly.
Right? And what we want to do is distill the absolute best golden nuggets and help you reduce the amount of time you spend grafting and striving and efforting, and keep your mind and keep your body healthy so that you can hit your goals quicker, which means you can retire sooner and you can enjoy a wealthy retirement afterwards. That's the ultimate goal that we're trying to share here. So you imagine spending 7 days in a luxury location with up to 30 business leaders who have decades of experience between them. That's actually the view from the hotel, by the way. So where we're going to be staying, that's what we're looking at.
I took that picture.
You've been there. You've walked every mile of that. Absolutely.
Yes.
For example, that's the temple in the water there, where the Marriott team actually have a monthly blessing, for the profits and the goodwill of the company. So that's how seriously they take this. They're living in accordance with the seasons, living in accordance with the land. Hawaii, interestingly, doesn't have enough flora and fauna to support the population. It never has. There's just not been enough food and raw materials to sustain the population. Yet it always did. It always thrived. It's really, really interesting. It is a magical place. So we're going to bring all these guys together, share inspiring stories of successful entrepreneurs and their journeys that they've been on, pulling out the best little gems that we possibly can. I've been quite hard on the speakers, and I'm saying, look, I don't want you just to fill an hour. I don't want you just to trot out the usual talk that you trot out. I want to hear you deliver the most profound, impactful, punchy stuff that you can bring to the table so that everyone in that room is blown away every time you hear somebody. That's what I want. Best practices, shortcuts. We're going to be talking artificial intelligence. We're going to be doing facilitated networking. Think of the contacts that these guys have. Think of the amount of influence that these guys have. We're going to be putting you all in a room with them. That's the plan. How to create a 5-hour work week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 5-hour work week.
Absolutely.
Live long, retire early without risking anything. Because I'm a big fan of security. I like security. Now, if you've hired a mentor or a coach, or you're continually trying to find trustworthy sources of information, all the while trying to maintain your mindset and keep a positive outlook, balancing your relationships, your family, your money, your health. Maybe you've applied for funding and got knocked back by the government or whoever. You're looking for a supportive community. You're looking for a supportive network. I don't know if you've noticed the shift, but there is very much a shift of, rather than dog eat dog and every man for themselves, there's a lot more collaboration, a lot more joint venturing happening, a lot more alliances happening. Struggling to balance your love of what you do and not giving it away for free and be able to monetize it, and ideally monetize it in multiple different ways. Even having a job nowadays is not financially secure because household name companies can disappear overnight, right? So multiple streams of income, as Jean Marie said. The Entrepreneurs Accelerator Summit, we want to compress all of this into 7 days. And it's going to be in Kona, Hawaii, Big Island, October 22nd to 29th. We will be your hosts. Quick bit of the story for me, that is the Keaho Beach Resort Hotel, which is actually just down the road from the Kamehameha Resort where we're going to be. It's actually no longer there. It's been knocked down completely and flattened. But that was where I spent an awful lot of time studying Hawaiian Huna, which is a very ancient shamanic healing and psychology tradition from 40,000 years ago. Think about that for a minute. What year are we in? 40. That they were talking about the unconscious mind long before Freud was a lad. And I went over there to study some really advanced healing and psychology stuff. We also were having problems with fertility and getting pregnant. We borrowed a fertility pond that was actually on the grounds of that location. And that little guy is the result. Luke was born shortly thereafter. So I have a very, very, very personal attachment to this island. And that's why I want to get back. I also want to take Luke back because he's never been. Oh. And that's going to be a powerful thing to see on his little face when he gets there.
Absolutely. Oh, Jonathan, what a story. And this is what it's about.
Yep.
It's about the background stories, and it's about the stories of our speakers, of not only the speakers, but our attendees. As they go through the week, they are going to have an opportunity to transform, as we said, from a business standpoint, as well as financial wellness. And we're going to all tie it in to that mental health and wellness, to the body, mind, and spirit, to that financial concept. It's not always about the money. And I know I've been criticized strongly every time I say that. But it truly, that wealth has to come from within. You have to have that ability to have that inner confidence, that inner, how would you put it, that inner spirit.
Yeah, well, the money's great, but do you want to be ill as well? Do you want to be a chronically ill wealthy person? Do you want to be a single wealthy person? Do you want to see everything else crumble apart around you? You can't take it with you. We arrive with nothing and we leave with nothing. So it's more about the people. It's more about the experiences. It's more about the magic moments. It's not the number of breaths you take. It's the number of moments that take your breath away. As someone famous.
I love that. Truly.
So.
And
carry on.
And just one more thing, Jonathan. When I was in the corporate pharmaceutical world, I was working around the clock. And I remember one evening it was, and I commuted an hour each way. And one evening it was past, I want to say 11 o'clock. And I thought I was the only one other than security in the building. And I was in research and development at the time. And we were working on different compounds and heart drugs. And as I walked past an office, I realized there was a light on, and it was the president of the company. And he stopped me and we had a conversation, and I will never forget. He looked at me and he said, Jeannie, at the time, he said, you can work to live, but don't live to work. That always stuck with me. Did I say that right? Work to live.
Yeah, don't work to live, live to work. Don't live to work.
Live to work.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's life work balance. You hear that
Yes.
all the time, but it's the wrong way around. It's life work balance.
Mhm.
You know, no,
Absolutely.
no one regrets lying on a deathbed wishing that they should have done more work at the office.
Mhm.
You know,
Truly.
that won't be what you
So,
regret. So
no, truly. So, Jonathan, take it from there. So, I think that's a good segue with what we're talking about here.
I mean, if you're in the slightest bit entrepreneurial, if you have that drive to turn your business into a success, if you want to make this thing grow and scale and look after you, then you're an independent thinker. Your mind is your biggest asset. Your drive and your willpower is a huge asset. You're probably, if you're anything like us, open to learning and personal development. You're interested in being a better version of you, being a better leader, a better communicator, a better presenter, a better salesperson, right? But you also need to keep in touch with innovation and technology and things advancing. Things are dramatically different from how they were 30, 40 years ago, and they're changing all the time. You want to be ethical. You want to do things with a corporate social responsibility. You want to contribute. But at the same time, you're trying to build financial security and you're trying to accumulate wealth for your own family, your own community. You're going to be networking, collaborating, building meaningful connections. There's a heck of a lot to do. And unfortunately, there isn't really a school where you can go and learn this stuff. There isn't really a degree in entrepreneurialism. So we learn through trial and error. We learn through mistakes. It's far better to model what's already working. It's far better to look for who's already got what I want, who's already doing what I want to be able to do, who's already got what I want to have, and spend some intense time with them and pick up their recipes, pick up their strategies, and walk away with a treasure map. So you know what to do and you know why you're doing it. And it's based on real results. It's not based on hope and hype. It's just too much hope and hype and promise and under delivery. So we want to do the reverse of that. We want to give you stuff that we know works and is proven, and you're going to be speaking to the people that are doing it. For myself, I was running a marketing agency in June 2021. I've been running it for, I think, 12 years by that point. The clients were stressed out because it was COVID, it was pandemic. They were freaking out. They needed money. They needed the till to ring and, the emails to ping. I was stressed out in my box. I eventually ended up in hospital, and I realized I can't do this anymore. I cannot take this stress anymore. I was banging my head against a brick wall, but I didn't know what to do instead. I had no idea what the new vehicle looked like. Fortunately, I joined a new network. I left my existing small Scottish network in the UK and joined an international global network. So there's a lot more people there. And I tapped into the experience there of people who were ahead of me. And they gave me a business model. And I implemented that business model. And now I'm doing about a 5-hour work week. So I'm passionate about this stuff because I am doing it. I'm walking my talk and doing the stuff. And that's the kind of stuff I want to share with you. Jean Marie's already told you she went from corporate job to going off on her own, but then being gagged and bound and told you can't do what you're good at. You can't compete with us, and being forced to kind of really have to play the game very carefully. So now that time period has elapsed. She is free to run. She's free to do what like. And guess what? We're going a big event in Hawaii. I look back at my numbers. I look back at my stats when my income was highest and when I was my healthiest and when the business was going the best was when I was going to Hawaii every 6 months. And it made me think, it's like, is there possibly a connection? And all the way through lockdown and all the way through COVID, a little voice in the back of my head, which is my unconscious mind, kept on saying, Hawaii is the key. Hawaii is the key. Hawaii is the key. And I kept on going, yeah. You don't do that. You ignore the voice that's in your head and it keeps on talking to you. It doesn't scream. It doesn't shout. It's a very gentle, soft voice, but it continues to niggle away at you. And I think, Jimmy, did we not originally say we were going to do this in Australia? Was that not the plan?
We did. That was the plan. That was our first choice. I remember that.
That's what I thought.
For a particular reason. And then right away,
Hawaii came up and it was like, no, has to be Hawaii, has to be. Mm-hmm. So these are tikis, these are Hawaiian tikis, and you'll see these all over the islands. They are statues that are carved out of wood, but these statues all have meaning. I'm going to reveal a little bit of the meaning of these to you. So if you ever get a chance to go to Hawaii or you join us in October, you'll recognize what these guys are. There's three main pillars to what we're going to be teaching over the 7-day summit. The first part is a financial wellness pillar. So yes, this is about money. This is about entrepreneurialism. This is about capitalism. This is about getting paid to help people and do what you're good at, right? Monetize your skills and your abilities and your academia and your experience. So absolutely, we're about business and profit. But there's also a second pillar, which is the mental wellness. How many men are committing suicide these days? How many business owners are having heart attacks these days or turning to alcohol? How many shop fronts are closing on the high street every day? Right? Your mental willpower and strength and that core drive that drives you and your sanity needs to be balanced. So we have a very, very strong component of mental health in here. And there's then the effect of the mind running the body. The Greeks knew that the mind runs the body. The Romans knew that. The mind-body connection has been proven many a time. Your thoughts have a direct effect on your body. In fact, you might want to write this down. Emotions are your body's reaction to your thinking. Emotions are your body's reaction to what you're thinking. If you're running Stephen King horror movies in here, your heart rate will fly up, your blood pressure will soar, your mouth will dry up, all the blood will go to the center of your body to protect the organs, and you're now in fight or flight mode. And you might be living there every day in your office or in your workplace, and that isn't healthy. It isn't healthy. Have you noticed the death rates? Have you noticed the death rates recently? Have you noticed how many TV adverts there are for cremations and funeral plans? It's ridiculous. So we want to make sure your body is healthy. We want to make sure that you are connected to your spiritual beliefs. We want to make sure that balance in all parts of you. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit of detail. But those are the three core pillars. And you can come to Hawaii and you can do all 7 days and get all of this, or you can come to the particular days that you fancy out of that list. If you want to just do the financial part, come and do that. If you want to come do the mind body stuff, come and do that. You've been missing a lot of good stuff in the other areas. So it's not about striving.
Jonathan.
Yes. Jump in.
No, I just want to make one point to recognize that you cannot, and to enforce what you just said, you cannot have a thought without it affecting your heart. Thinking and realizing there is just 18 inches between our mind and our heart, that it is going to affect the other. So that stands to reason that whatever your business is, if it is a restaurant owner, if it is an entrepreneur of just selling maybe books, a bookstore of some kind, or a corporation, a company, whatever you are doing, even from the standpoint of a veterinarian or a doctor, a physician, whether that is body, mind, or spirit, it is effective to know that your wellness has to come from within, and you control that through what you're thinking, as you shared. And so each one of these programs, even though we are speaking on business, whether it is Dawn McCarty speaking on our cybersecurity, or if it is Jacob Miles talking about digital or diversity and inclusion, or AI, the NLP, Jonathan, that you were speaking of, our financial wellness with Richard Burge, or Karen Burge speaking on the wealthy client. There is a connection. We're talking about business, but then we are bringing in that connection, that mental health and wellness, as well as what it does to the body, mind, and spirit, and how to get the most and to be the healthiest in all three areas, so that your business is successful and it thrives. And we can't do that by just having one course in a business for the day to move on And that is why it's an event, because we're incorporating everything for to get the most out and to be the most successful that you can be.
Absolutely. I mean, what would happen to your business if you weren't there tomorrow? Or if you weren't there ever again? What would happen to your business? It's not about striving. It's not about working harder. We have this tendency to go, right, if I just put in more hours, like Jean Marie staying in the office till 11 o'clock at night, if I just put more hours and I can figure this out and I can conquer this problem, I can eventually fix it, well, that's one approach. Striving is one way of doing it. There may be other approaches, and that's what we want to open your mind to. We want to give you more free time. So if you've got nothing else, imagine having more free time, a lot less stress. We can't say no stress because no stress is unrealistic, and some stress is actually good for you. So less stress, heck of a lot less stress, but more clients, more free time, more clients, and possibly even a zero commute. There's a lot of offices closing now because people are working from home. My home office that I'm sitting in right now, well, even though it looks like I'm on the beach, my commute is from my kitchen kettle to here. It's about 30 seconds. And I love that. I used to spend all my time on the road. It used to take me 3 hours to do a 1 hour appointment, because it would take me an hour to get to the destination, to park, to pay for the parking, to buy the Starbucks, to meet the client, and then get back to the car park, drive all the way through rush hour traffic, get back home. And I remember saying to my wife in February 2020, I remember saying to her, there has to be an easier way to life than this. And then a month later, we were in lockdown. Be careful what you ask for. So what happened for me is I tapped into a new network. I met a whole bunch of world-class, high-caliber individuals. I was given a strategy and a business plan to implement a 5-hour work week. I got personal coaching all the way through, and guidance and week-by-week hand-holding to help me through any obstacles that I bumped into. I got the support and accountability of that community. I had more reassurance and support from that particular group than I had in 9 years with another network, and a network you would have heard of. I spent 9 years having breakfast with these guys every week for 9 years. And my business multiplied by a factor of 5, by the way, when I left that organization and joined the other group. So it tells me I was in the wrong room for 9 years. And I've implemented systems and practices, and I'm continually learning to get that life-work balance and long-term financial independence. Ultimately, that's what this is all about. So I've been through it, and we want to share it with you. And it's these 3 things: financial wellness, mental health and wellness, body, mind, spirit, right? Now, I've discovered after 26 years of running my own business and spending tens of thousands of pounds and dollars into programs. I have bookcases full of home study packs, DVDs. I've done the seminars. I've been to see Tony Robbins. I've done all that stuff. I've studied with lots of gurus. We want to take the best of what I know and the best of what genius speakers know and distill that and hand it to you in bite-sized chunks over the course of 7 days, right? This is the Entrepreneur Accelerator Summit, October 2023, Kona, Hawaii. Now, financial wellness, mental health and wellness, body, mind, spirit. The first one, financial wellness. When you're an employee, the company markets for you and you just handle the clients. As an entrepreneur, you have to find the clients, but you're also the CEO, and you're also the janitor. You're also the marketing department. You're also issuing invoices. You're doing all the admin. You're doing everything, right? You're cleaning the desks. There's a lot to learn, but there are smart working practices. And it doesn't matter whether you're a veteran or whether you're a newbie. We want to give you some stuff that will help you earn more money, but work less hours, right? So you can have more financial security and fund the lifestyle that you envisaged when you first started your business. That's the whole goal. These are some of the guys I've studied with. You probably recognize most of them. I've either worked with them individually, personally, or I've studied their stuff and implemented it and used it. And I want to share the best of what I've learned over the past 26 years. So for example, we now have a way of using artificial intelligence, and we have a way of getting it to talk to Amazon.com and to come back from Amazon.com to validate any idea that you want to validate, from an idea on a napkin to a full-blown business launch within 24 hours. Not based on hope that it might work, but based on sales data, live sales figures that we're getting from Amazon. It's almost like having somebody working at Amazon and phoning you up saying, hey, you should launch a business in this particular niche because it's currently selling really well, right? Phenomenal stuff. And we're going to actually hand you the prompts. If you know what prompts are, we're going to hand you the highly crafted engineered prompts that you can use to get AI to talk to Amazon. I'm going to show you how it works. We'll also demo it on the day, and everybody who's there will get a copy of that. We're all going to talk about world-class high-ticket programs. How do you put together a high-ticket program that's $3,000 and above that you can sell, that you can also turn into a book, you can turn into an online course, you can turn into a year of workshops and retreats, you could turn it into a corporate consulting package or a coaching package, or all five, which I'm a big fan of. I've written 14 books so far. I have multiple streams of income, and I believe everybody should. I'm going to teach how that works. Then we're going to talk about survival and replication. This is a huge, huge thing. Very high level, very, very abstract. However, the two core needs that drive everything we do and all the major evergreen markets, all the perennial markets that are out there, the industries and niches that always have sold, always will sell, fall down to these two things, survival and replication. And I'm going to be sharing what that's about and how to actually profit from that, because everything people do is for one of those two needs. I'm going to demonstrate exactly how that works. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're an author, a speaker, a coach, a consultant, this is the place to be in October. Anything to add to that, Jean-Marie, before I move on to pillar number 2?
Yes, just with regards to who this works for, I want to speak with the entrepreneurs. It does not matter if you are starting out or thinking about starting an entrepreneur as an entrepreneur. This event is for women. There's still opportunities that we don't want you to miss. And the opportunity for people who have left the corporate world, such as I did, and became an entrepreneur. Jonathan, there's a gap. And we are filling that gap with need to know. You don't know what you don't know.
That's very true.
And that's where the secrets are coming in. We have so many 30 plus speakers that will be talking to you. They have the expertise, they have the wisdom, they have the experience, and they have the knowledge. And you will get, as Jonathan said, a nugget or a best kept secret from each one of them. And you cannot help but go home with this treasure map and to have a success.
We're actually going to run
very quickly.
Absolutely. But listen, you could be downsized yesterday and have your new business up and running now, the next day, validated by Amazon, online, ready to take payments. Yeah, absolutely. We're also going to facilitate networking sessions, so you actually get to meet people. So it's not a case of, you might be able to grab somebody for 5 minutes. We'll actually make sure that you have access to everybody, all the speakers, everybody's staying in the one hotel. We're all going to be there for 7 days. So there's plenty of time to network. Second major pillar, mental health and wellness. One of our missions is to help each one of us become a better, all-rounded, balanced individual. We've had 3 years of upheaval, uncertainty, the goalpost moving continually. A lot of solopreneurs are feeling jaded, lonely, and anxious. Sometimes it feels like you're the only crazy person fighting in the trenches, right? So we want to get everybody together. The camaraderie is going to be amazing. We want to share the best of what we all know, the latest in mental wellness and strategies. We're going to be having practitioners actually are working with you individually. So if you want to have confidential sessions with somebody and release something that you feel stuck over, or help get a professional to actually dig into you and find out what the issue is, there'll be plenty of opportunities to actually do that. This is one of my favorite graphs. This phrase was coined by one of my clients. I call this the untrained normal person. This is a map of the average person who's not really into personal development much. Maybe they're just like hardcore business and they haven't really thought about all the other avenues. And my client called it a neurotypical person. So I borrowed that name. Here's the scenario. If you walked up to the average entrepreneur right now and said, do you have a conscious mind? What are they going to say? Do you have a consciousness? Do you have a mind? Do you have an awareness? They're going to say, Yes. In fact, the part of them that says, do I, is their conscious mind. Right? And if you say, do you have a physical body? Are you like, do you have a physical vehicle that you live in? And they're going to go, of course I do. And if you said, is it fair to say you've got some stuff, some like old wounds, some hurts, some scars, some emotional traumas that you've been through? Is it fair to say you've got some stuff? And they're going to go, oh, yes. Oh, wait till I tell you. Right? Well, here's the deal. You might think that all that white space is empty, but all that white space is actually jam-packed full. You actually have three minds. There are three minds, and all forms of psychology have debated this for hundreds and thousands of years. And you also have an emotional part of you. You have a mental part of you, and you have a spiritual part of you. You can be lying in your bed with your head buzzing and like full of ideas and like can't sleep, but your body's exhausted. You ever had that? Your body's like flat out, but your head is buzzing at 1,000,000 miles an hour because it's two entirely different aspects. Equally, you could be full of beans. You could come out of your workplace and hit the gym and pump iron or go for a run or play squash, but your head is mush. I used to come home from school and walk my dogs for a couple of miles because my head was just mush. Don't talk to me. I've got no more head space. Just let me pick up a weight or let me punch something, So you have different aspects, and all personal development and all philosophies that work tackle all seven. Seven's a magical number, the dance of the seven veils, 7 heavenly pleasures, the 7 deadly sins, right? The 7 chakras.
Yes. And the chakras. Yes.
7 keeps on coming up, and there's a reason why, because all aspects of you are here, and we want to cover all aspects. So the Hawaiians knew this. Here's the freaky thing. The Hawaiians knew this. They talked about Lono, one of their gods, Lono. The conscious mind handles about 134 bits of information per second. That's been measured. Your brain can handle 134 bits of information per second. And it only kicked in around about age 5. Prior to age 5, you're a little bundle of energy exploring the planet. You're not consciously aware. You're not thinking about stuff until you get a watch, or you get told that you play, then you eat, or you eat, then you play. And there's a certain time of night that you need to come home by. And you start to learn the rules. Then you go into primary education, where they start to put stuff into your head. Isn't it interesting? It takes several teachers to teach all the topics you're supposed to know, but there's only one pupil. Why is it there's several teachers teaching all these different topics and one pupil? How is one pupil supposed to know something that the teachers don't all know in one person? Anyway, your conscious mind has limited recall. You don't have a total recall memory. We don't. It's a Newtonian physics device. It runs according to the rules of Newtonian physics. X equals Y. It's a thinking, reasoning machine, but it's also an expert in denial and avoidance. Your conscious mind can lie to you and justify anything. Oh, I'm just going to have another piece of chocolate gateau. I can justify that, right? It'll torment you. There's an incessant chatter in your head. Just, you're lying in bed and there's like chatter in your head. How am I going to raise profits? How am I going to sack that employee? How am I going to do this? That's your conscious mind. Now, in Hawaii, that was represented by this tiki, this statue. His eyes are closed because he doesn't experience the outer world. He's two in his head. And he's a tall headdress. He's got a great imagination and a lot of thinking. But the streamers on his headdress didn't touch the ground because he wasn't connected to the material world. It was all head stuff, but not physical stuff. That was the conscious mind in Hawaii. And anywhere you go in Hawaii, you will see statues of Lono. It's not necessarily just a god in the Hawaiian pantheon of gods. It's also your mind, or one of your minds. Then you'll also see this guy. This is Ku. Ku represents your unconscious mind. The Hawaiians knew about this 40,000 years ago. Freud cottoned on around about 1901. The unconscious mind handles 2 million bits of information. Your conscious mind handles 134. Your unconscious mind, 2 million. Oh, by the way, it has total recall and it's unlimited. And while your conscious mind kicked in at age 5, your unconscious mind kicked in at conception. American Medical Association, 1965, declared that an embryo is learning and has memory. So take whatever age you are, add 9 months to it, times 2 million. That's the amount of information you've taken in at the unconscious level, and it's all still in there on the hard drive. Take your current age minus 5 years and multiply that by 134. That's what you've got consciously. So the real you isn't your conscious mind. The real you is your unconscious mind. And it may be scared of success. It might have some limiting beliefs in there. It might have some fear, right? It might think money's the root of all evil. Selling is evil. That's a problem. Your unconscious mind is also responsible for all your energy and your motivation and all your feelings and all your emotions and your memories, right? Now, the unconscious mind was represented in Hawaii by a statue called Ku, and Ku's eyes are partly open. So he's more aware than the conscious mind is. But he's got a short headdress. He's not very, doesn't have a lot of thoughts going on in his head, but he is very creative. And the streamers touched the ground. The streamers were very much in touch with the physical, because the unconscious mind is very much in touch with your physical body. Very, very much. Then we have the third mind in the Holy Trinity. The higher conscious mind, or the higher self, that's your spiritual connection. The higher selves don't bother with car parking spaces or money. They deal with things like healing, miracles, wisdom. They're holographic. They focus on the future. In some traditions, it's called your guardian angel or your holy guardian spirit. Now, in Hawaii, they wouldn't carve that out of a statue. They would use an upright stone because it's formless. How do you put a form on the higher self? But they would have standing stones. And all over Hawaii, you can find standing stones. So those three minds, the conscious, the unconscious, and the higher self, were being carved or created in visual form all over the Hawaiian culture for 40,000 years. They knew a thing or two. There was no incidence of mental illness in Hawaii until the missionaries from Boston arrived. And they brought a whole bunch of diseases, not just mental. If you've got your conscious mind to talk to your unconscious mind, do you think that would make you more successful? And what if you got your higher self involved as well? What if your higher self came in and told you what you should be doing for a business, or what's wrong in your business, or what to do next? That Holy Trinity is present in every system: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, for example. Or the caduceus symbol in the medical world, the two snakes climbing up to an angel. Or the trigrams in the I Ching system, 3 bits of bamboo, right? This Trinity is present everywhere. Everywhere. The Pope's cross has 3 horizontal bars. The Cardinals has 2. The priests has 1. That's interesting. What's that telling you? So we want to teach you methods to tap into all of these, and then your business starts to fly. Think about all the people you know who are business successes, pioneers, gurus in their field. They probably meditate. They probably have some sort of visualization process that they do. They probably pray or have spiritual beliefs or some kind of spiritual practices. I didn't. I never did. And then I learned and it opened up a whole new horizon. Jean Marie, anything to say about this?
Oh, I just really, really appreciate the learning because I did see I'll call them the figures, the
tikis,
thank you, of in Hawaii, and they are very, very much honored and still present. And truly, that is a part of their culture, and the people embrace it. And you feel that sense of calmness in the Hawaiians. And I wish I would have mentioned this up front, but the world is on one time, and then there's Hawaii time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the Hawaii time teaches us to slow down. But there's purpose behind it. We slow down so that we have the ability to be more clear on what it is, what we are doing, and more purposeful. Okay. And having the faith, having the belief without seeing, having the perseverance. This is all about what we are going to talk about: the courage, the perseverance, and the belief, and the 3-in-1 here, having that sense of understanding, Jonathan, is critical, not only to ourselves, but to our business.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Third major pillar is the body, mind, spirit. right? I know lots of people, I know lots of life coaches, for example, who meditate and practice spiritual disciplines, and they trust that the universe will send them clients and fill their wallet. Good luck with that plan. I've seen other people work really hard. They go networking, they build websites, they've got shiny business cards, and they market like crazy. And they're still not fully booked. But the guys and gals who combine both, they've got their feet on the ground and do all the work, but they also have their head connected to something bigger. Their energy, they're usually healthier, they're usually more balanced, they're usually in control, they're usually unflappable. And some people consider them lucky. And I think of it like a battery. You know, you've got 2 poles at the end of a battery, and working just one pole isn't going to make it work. If you disconnect one of the terminals in a car battery, the car's going nowhere. You need both plugged in, head in the sky, feet on the ground. That's one of the things that is the secret. This came to me in a dream. It literally did come to me in a dream, and I had to put it on a PowerPoint slide because I like PowerPoint. You have here the big picture. You have the 4 bodies. You have the 3 minds. You have the archangels. Then you get into the level of the void or God or spirit or Allah or Buddha or whatever you want to call it, the quantum field, right? Every system agrees. Every esoteric system on the planet has the same core pillars. So there has to be something to it. There has to be something to it. And we want to show you how to employ all aspects of yourself for balance, from the spiritual level, the mental level, the emotional level, and the physical level. And we're going to show you how all this stuff works over the course of 7 days. 2002 was a bad year for me. I was engaged. We broke up. I moved out into a small flat. I did depression. I grew a beard, and I cried myself to sleep over Christmas and New Year. And to snap me out of it, my friend Billy phoned me up and said, I booked you on a training course. And I said, I don't want to do a training course. I've done so much. I've done NLP trainer. I've done coaching, I've done CBT, I've done feng shui, you name it. I've studied it. I don't want to go on a training course. He said, it's in Hawaii. And I found myself on the big island in Kona a few months later, and it blew me away. And we want to have you to have the same experience. Now, all of these mind-body techniques, all of the ologies, as I call them, all the complementary alternative approaches, they follow a similar kind of route. The first thing you always look at is all the material that is in you that may be stuck, all the limiting stuff, all the blockages, right? We all have gunge in there. We've all got, remember that stuff that I showed you in that diagram? Past hurts, traumas, things we can't let go of, grudges, the business partner who stabbed you in the back, right? The person who stole all your clients, all that kind of stuff, competitors or ripping you off or whatever it might be. We need to let that stuff go. We need to let that stuff go. And nowadays, there are actual ways. Like if I said to you that there's a file on your computer, I want you to delete it. There's a Word document on your computer. Go and delete it. Let me ask you a question. What do you need to do? Jimmy, what do you need to do to get rid of a Word document?
You need to just pull up the file and delete. You select it and delete it. You have to go through the files and select it.
Beautiful. So you have to find it first, and then you click on it, you highlight it, so you kind of activate it, and then you press delete. Let me ask you a question. Do you have to read it? Do you have to read every word?
You don't have to read every word. You just have to know that that is the file that you want to delete. And you have to consciously make, you consciously make that choice.
I love it. And people understand Windows and computers better than they do their own bodies and minds. But it works the same way. If you can find the limiting belief, you can delete it. If you can find the blockage, you can delete it. If you can find the old trauma, you can delete it. Now, guess who knows where they all are? Which one of your minds has total recall? Your unconscious mind does. So you can talk to your unconscious mind. You can ask it the source of everything, and it will tell you. And then you can then delete it. And we can show you how to talk to your unconscious mind in minutes from a standing start, even if you've never done it before. Freaks people out when the body you start asking your body questions and it answers you. In the old days of hypnotherapy, it was one way. The hypnotist would hypnotize the subject, as they were called, and suggest and suggest and suggest, and eventually the suggestions would take hold. Nowadays, it's two-way. The hypnotist talks to the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind talks back, and you listen and you hear and you sometimes see it. And we can show you how to do that in minutes from a standing start, and it is a whole new ballgame. Personal development at a whole new level. Once you find these blockages, you then have to balance the energy. We have to get the battery flowing. We can't have too much positive and too much negative. We need to get that flowing, or the yin and the yang, or the touch with your feminine side, or whatever you want to call it, the 5-element theory from Chinese medicine. All of these things are doing the same thing, balancing you out. The Hawaiians talked about 5 elements as well. So we're going to take you through processes which do that for you. It's a detox, right? And then finally, training your body and your nervous system to handle more energy. What in China is called qi, what in Japan is called ki, what in Hawaii was called mana. Imagine if you had more energy, right? You could get more done. You hit a wall about 9 p.m. Imagine if you could get more done. Imagine if you're able to get stuff, more motivation, more drive, more passion, right? More results, more productivity. We can show you how to do that. By the way, that's also healthy for the body. How long can you live without food? Days. How long can you live without water? Maybe a couple of days. How long can you live without oxygen? Minutes. How long can you live without energy? You can't. You can't. It's energy first, then oxygen, right? That's what you need. So we're going to show you how to do that through meditation techniques, through breathing techniques, oxygen, through chanting techniques, all the ancient chants. If you think of it, Sanskrit or Latin, the Polynesian chants predate anything in Latin or Sanskrit. These are ancient languages. And I'm going to be running a chant class and teaching you how to chant. People love it because their energy goes through the roof. You were going to say something, Jim Ree. Sorry, I interrupted you.
You know, Jonathan, some of what you are sharing and saying, it just solidifies who we have as speakers that will complement this and enforce it. And each one has a different level of expertise.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Robert Rednati, and he is one of 100 of Dr. Joe Dispenza's certified trainers. And Tony Robbins is one of Dr. Dispenza's certified trainers as well. So, I mean, he's friends and has worked with Tony Robbins, such as you and a lot of my other speakers. But Robert Rednati is going to be there sharing his wisdom, his training, his learning. And I know you have such a tremendous amount of knowledge. It is just, you can't go to one place to get all these different areas of expertise. Dawn Gaydon and Joanna Rajendran. And Joanna was the protege of one of the world's oldest yoga instructors, who, by the way, instructed Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra. So these individuals, and Joanna was friends with Teo, the oldest yoga instructor, for 17 to 20 years. And wow, she is just phenomenal as well. So they're enforcing what you have said and what we are talking about. Yeah. And they'll get it. Everybody learns differently and hears differently from other people. So we want our audience to know, those who attend, we have the top, the best of the best.
And all the different approaches are just simply that. They're different approaches, but they all work on the same things. They all work on the 4 bodies. They all work on the 3 minds. They all work on breathing and visualization. They all have the same methods. They just have different labels, just called different things. So you can pick the ones that resonate most with you and then take them home and practice them in your day-to-day life. That's what it's all about. We're going to give you so many tools, you're never going to be the same. So that's the summary. Bring to light all the material that's limiting and then release it. Balance the energies in the bodies and then train your body to be able to handle more energy, which makes you a more powerful individual. Those are the 3 core pillars of what we're going to be talking about. So our invitation to you watching this right now is, do you want to come and join us? Do you want to come and spend 7 days in Hawaii with us to get all of this stuff? Here's what you're going to get when you invest in yourself today. Ultimately, the aim is for you to create a 5-hour work week, working less, making more money, living longer and healthily, and ultimately retiring early so you don't ever have to work again. That's ultimately where we're going. Now, making a positive impact on your industry or your community is probably a big deal. But creating a following is probably a big deal to you. Creating innovative products and services that actually solve people's problems. You probably want to be a pioneer in that regard. You want to leave a legacy, right? You want a sustainable and profitable business model that runs while you're not present. You're going to learn and grow as a person and achieve that elusive life-work balance once and for all. So the 7-day Entrepreneur Summit, we are currently pricing at $7,444. That's certainly what it's worth. To make it even juicier, what we thought we would do is we'd make sure that your accommodation was covered too. So how is it to come and spend 7 days in the King Kamehameha Resort with us, where we're actually having the event? That is included in your stay. So if you're thinking right now, I'm going to have to spend more money for accommodation. No, that's included in the package. Do you want to talk about that, Jean Marie? Because you've been over there negotiating for us.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. We have just an abundance of opportunity here. And yes, we have the $7,444 price on it, but this is truly, Jonathan, you're going to go through and tell people the value is going to be priceless. We truly, truly are giving this away with that price. It is 7 days at the hotel. The room is taken care of, one room, and it is 2 meals a day. Your breakfast and your lunch is taken care of. This includes the welcome that we have and all the different activities such as the luau. We have a very special luau with the authentic Island Breeze group, and that is in itself approximately $200 per person. And it is truly, and they tell the story. They share the experience and the culture of the Hawaiian, along with the food. So it is a wonderful evening. It is also inclusive, the signature talks, and that is with each one, whichever one you choose to go to, that is included. It is inclusive with regards to the panel discussions. It is having the network program alone. Shelley Jorgensen, the founder of Executive Networking Events, the Inner Circle, where Jonathan and I met, actually. Yep. And a lot of my speakers are from there. They are the experts, everyone. You cannot get anybody to surpass them. They have the knowledge, the skills, and the experience. Shelley is going to be doing a networking program. This is not just showing up to a social gathering. This is work, but the work that you put into it, the networking, you are meeting and in the same room with all my people, all my speakers, where you would have to pay for that to happen. So this is just a great opportunity. And that networking program is going to be every day. I think there's 4 days of it. Yep. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. In the afternoons, and we have the training, the workshops, the masterminds, that's included, Jonathan. Yep. That in itself is a tremendous price alone.
We're also going to be doing a fire walk.
Oh, yes, we are. And Quibus is, you're going to love the story and the different stories of the speakers. But yes, Garth and Quibus and Francois, they all have just special opportunities to share their gifts with you. And you won't get this anywhere else.
I mean, Tony Robbins made firewalking fairly mainstream in the 80s. What actually happened was he went to one of his NLP trainers, John Grinder, one of the co-founders of NLP, and he asked him for, I need an angle, I need a shtick, I need a thing to hang my hat on. And Grinder suggested you should do something that the Western mind can't comprehend, something that the Western world had never seen before. And so he did firewalking. Fire walking originated, I think, in India originally, but the Hawaiians used to walk across recently cooled lava. So the lava flow would go by, it would turn black, and they would walk across it, right? So there's a strong history of doing fire walking in Hawaii, and we're actually going to have one during one of the evenings in the dark, glowing red, full buna in Hawaii as part of the deal. That again would probably cost you about $2,500 to do anywhere else. We're going to include that. We've got the Island Breeze Luau included as well. So we're up to about $12,500 worth of value. Now, you know how this works on a webinar. You're not going to be paying that kind of price, but put it in perspective for a moment. Think about the value of this. If all this did was cut your working week down to a 5-hour work week, would it be worth coming to Hawaii for 7 days? That's all it did. Would it be worth it if we added 20 years to your life and kept you healthy? Would that be worth it? If you had the energy and the flexibility and the faculties that you have now, 40 years from now, would that be worth it? And what if you could retire 5 years early? What's that worth? So total value for this is 12,500. Our current price is 7,444. That's what it's going to be when we go up to full retail value later. But right now, because you're watching this video and because you have the web link that I'm about to give you, the price is 5,444. That's for the 7-day package, including accommodation, including the firewalk, including luau, all of it for 5,444. If you go to acceleratedentrepreneur.org, you will see all the details there. And yeah, everything's there. The ticket prices are there. You can see the accommodation there. You can see the timetable. You can see the list of speakers. Everything is on that website. Now, just to make it even juicier, I want to ask you to make a choice, make a decision. You can either do nothing at all and watch us rabbiting at you for this length of time. You're going to get sick of seeing the stories. You're going to get sick of seeing the videos and the social media images and the testimonials and the footage from the event that we're going to plaster all over the internet. Maybe even some live streams and stuff that we're doing from the island live. And you're going to be thinking, I wish I'd gone to that event. You know, I should have gone to that event. Or you could come and join us, go to the website, book. There's 4 different ticket types. Go and book the one that appeals to you most and join us in Hawaii, baby. Anything you want to say, Jean Marie?
Yes. Jonathan, you know what? You could stop and think as well. What do you pay for medical expenses, for a doctor's appointment, for medication, for any type of treatment? What we are doing is almost like preventative. We are giving you an opportunity to have the resources with our speakers, to have the ability to learn techniques, the breathing techniques, the yoga. We're going to have sunrise yoga, everybody, and you know, different opportunities to do nothing but good for you while you are there. And you don't leave it there. You take it with you. These are life-changing opportunities. And what value can you put on that?
Absolutely.
To me, it's priceless.
Great point. Great point. So 7-day Entrepreneur Summit, Firewalk, Island Breeze Luau, accommodation, all in there. Total value is $12,594. Our price is 5,444. Now, we're also going to give you a bonus for anyone who books straight away. The first 5 people who book this are going to get a meditation audio that I recorded a while ago of the Ho'oponopono process. Ho'oponopono is all about cutting connections, keeping your energy to yourself, and disconnecting yourself from the energy vampires and anyone who might be siphoning your stuff out of you, right? We all know energy vampires, and there's a way of doing that. Now, there is a 10-word affirmation that's been popularized over the last few years that is not traditional Hawaiian Ho'oponopono. It sold lots of books and it made money for the authors, but it isn't what was originally taught. I stumbled into this tiny little bookstore, and it was like a cupboard. It was tiny in Kona one day. And I found on the shelf a handwritten notebook that had the exact Ho'oponopono process as done traditionally for hundreds and hundreds of years. Ho'oponopono was always done face-to-face. They were conducted during what are called Pono meetings. And if someone came to your door and said, Jean Marie, there's a Pono meeting at 8 o'clock, everybody showed up on pain of punishment. Everybody showed up. And it was a way of burying the hatchet, putting things to bed once and for all, saying what needed to be said, clearing the decks, and walking away pono with your world. So everything's done. There's nothing unspoken. There's no grudges. There's no hidden agendas. It was all transparency. And that's what Ho'oponopono is all about. I take you through that process on this audio, and the first 5 people who book this program are going to get that audio as part of the package, just so you know. So
that in itself is priceless, Jonathan. Truly, that knowledge and that experience is bar none. Just go just for that.
I remember when we did that, the first time we did that in Hawaii in 2003. We went through the Ho'oponopono process, the traditional way, and people's mobile phones lit up, and relatives were texting them from the other side of the planet saying, "Are you okay? I just got this really weird feeling." Or, "Our dogs went completely crazy about 10 minutes ago. Are you all right?" Because they could feel the disconnect. They could feel the cutting of the cords, and you do want to cut cords with people that you care about, because sometimes we are limiting the people we care about through our need to protect them and love them and look after them. But sometimes that's actually holding them back. So severing the old connections and forming new connections is an important part of the process. And people were going like, "Are you all right? I got this really weird feeling." Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we're going to cover all that stuff. Everything's on the website, acceleratedentrepreneur.org. I would like to thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching us all the way through. Jean Marie, have you any final thoughts?
Yes, Jonathan, I want to mention that you and I are going to be doing these little segments and having interviews and podcasts with each one of our speakers.
Absolutely.
You're going to know them. You're going to meet them. You're going to be able to say, "Oh, I want to go to that presentation." And Jonathan, share, your vision. And I love that.
Well, just keep your eyes peeled, because we're going to be hosting a little short one, probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour every week with one of the speakers. So we'll be doing a kind of presentation and a kind of interview hot seat kind of thing with them once a week, every week. So you can meet all the guys that are going to be there and speaking there. And if there's anyone there who resonates with you massively, you can try before you buy, and then you can decide to come along and join us. It also gives a chance for all the speakers to showcase their stuff and tell us what they can do and show us what they can do. So yeah, we've got big plans for this.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. Keep watching.
Absolutely.
Hit that like button, right? Isn't there going to be a like button?
They can hit a like button. They can comment, share, whatever they want to do. We'll even give them an email address that they can subscribe. But that's everything we have for you today. As is traditional in Hawaii, the word aloha means hello and goodbye. So we would say aloha to you. We would also say ahui ho, which means till we meet again.
And I love that. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho. And if you come to Hawaii, we're going to teach you a whole bunch of Hawaiian words. So
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you for your attention. We hope we've tickled your fancy, and please come and join us. It's going to be monumental. And we'd love to see you there in person, not on a screen.
Yes. Aloha. And hui ho.
Hui ho.
Hui ho.
Awesome. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.